You're watching the Financial News Network. I'm Chuck Pierce. GlaxoSmithKline announced that it has reached an agreement in principle with the U.S. government to conclude the company's most significant ongoing federal government investigations. Specifically, the investigation into GSK's sales and marketing practices begun by the U.S. Attorney's Office of Colorado in 2004 and later taken over by the U.S. Attorney's Office of Massachusetts. The U.S. Department of Justice's investigation of possible inappropriate use of the nominal price exception under the Medicaid rebate program, and the Department of Justice's investigation of the development of marketing Avandia. CEO Andrew Whitty said, quote, "This is a significant step toward resolving difficult, long-standing matters which do not reflect the company that we are today. In recent years, we have fundamentally changed our procedures for compliance, marketing, and selling in the U.S. to ensure that we operate with high standards of integrity and that we conduct our business openly and transparently." Existing provisions cover the final settlement of $3 billion, and GSK expects to make payments under the final agreement in 2012. The payments will be funded through existing cash resources. GlaxoSmithKline has a potential upside of 14.6% based on a current price of $43.27 and an average consensus analyst price
course it is, said Mark Twain. Fiction has to make sense.
That's your latest
The question
news.
is, what would Mark Twain have
right here,
classified this posting from the FDA as? Truth or fiction? That's the distribution of the suicidal acts that happened in the registration trials of these three drugs here. But slide 2, and I don't know how to move the slides forward. Yeah, this is how the company reports. FDA reviews of the drug and journal articles report those acts. You referred earlier to the Ferguson et al. Article, on which I'm a co-author. We had to cope with this. We didn't undo this particular bit of bias to come to the results we had. The results we had would have been worse if we had undone this. You referred to the MHRA article. Well, MHRA included 3 placebo suicides that weren't on placebo in clinical trials. People who, a week after going on Prozac, went on to commit suicide. Dr. Loughran has an article from 2001 in which he's the sole author that repeats this mistake. Dr. Loughran, in this particular document here, gives you no hint that all of the articles that he refers to showing that there is no increase in risk also repeat the mistake that you see here. But this is the most interesting slide. This you won't have seen, perhaps. This is data from 3.5 years ago. This is data from FDA that FDA put in the public domain. This shows you a clearly statistically significant increased risk of suicide. FDA said 3.5 years ago, but we can get this risk to go away if we control for age and sex. Now, controlling for age and sex in controlled RCTs to begin with suggests you're doing something awfully odd, that the clinical trials were invalid to begin with. FDA also said that when we control for location, that it actually makes a difference. And this year, FDA reported that when you look at the clinical trials that happened in the US here, the placebo-controlled trials, that there were fewer people went on to actually commit suicide. I'm sure you know that there are clinical trialists here in the US who've ended up in jail for entering fake patients into this clinical trial program. Fake or bogus patients do all sorts of interesting things. They get well on treatment. They don't commit suicide. It's just inconvenient for the audit trail if they do. Does this explain FDA's findings? I think you've asked the right questions. You've asked, why have FDA left out the people who seem to be doing poorly, the people who drop out from the...
Thank you.